Good evening, everyone. My name is Jennifer Flanders Vanderhook. I am the treasurer for the Elk Point and District Chamber of Commerce, and I work for Givens LLP as a staff accountant here in Elk Point, Alberta. Welcome to our virtual candidates forum for the Elk Point municipal election. And we also have our Division 2 candidates for the County of St. Paul election that's also coming up, joining us as well. So welcome everybody. We are going to have a great evening helping everyone in our community get the best information possible so that they can vote and get the best candidates in to continue to grow and improve our community. We will start off tonight with some introductions from all of the candidates, followed by a short break, and then we will get into questions from the electoral public. And then we will wrap things up with 2-minute closing statements from everybody, and we will start those at about 8:30 tonight. So thanks everybody for joining us, and we hope you all have a successful campaign. Best of luck to everybody involved tonight and in the election. And we are going to start with our introductions with Terry Hampson.
Great. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen and fellow candidates. First, I would like to take this time to acknowledge that we are situated on Treaty 6 territory, traditional lands of the First Nations and Métis people. Thank you to the Chamber of Commerce and Givens LLP for hosting this forum, and to our facilitator, Jennifer. Thank you to the press and to the residents for taking time to tune into the live stream, although technical difficulties, you'll see it later. My name is Terry Hampson. I have lived in Elk Point for 7 years. My husband and I look forward to being here for more to come. I am proud to call Elk Point my home. I work locally as an operations and finance manager at Northern Lights Library System, where we employ 27 people. I believe in giving back and serving the community I live in. I have appreciated the past 4 years on council, and I continue to learn each day. The 14 various committees I have sat on over the current term have been very informative and important voice for our community. Being the chair of the Economic Development Committee this past year has seen us focusing on creating a downtown revitalization program and a lot of advocacy. Since taking the role of the president of the Chamber of Commerce 3 years ago, we have seen a 50% membership increase, and we were able to bring you Spring Fling, Forest of Lights, and most recently, Heritage Days, along with over $12,000 worth of grant money to our region. As your town mayor and representative, I would work alongside administration and council as a team to represent our town. This includes youth, families, and seniors who make up our diverse community, as well as our business community. I commit to making decisions to ensure our town is growing, remains independent, and moves forward. I value communication as it's crucial for a successful working relationship between council and the community. Being open to conversation, available, and visible within the community is essential to this success. Advocating for our community in all areas, specifically in health and emergency services. This includes our hospital, our ambulance, police services, which is an essential need for our town. I'm committed to the residents of Elk Point to promote partnership with our rural neighbors through collaboration and positive relationships, both in the here and now and with eyes on the future to ensure viability. We need to have a long-term vision for our infrastructure requirements, which include a need for the community broadband strategy for long-term sustainability. Through common sense, we will look at growth alongside fiscal responsibility with a local community focus. I would call for a full service level review every 1 to 2 years to ensure we're being efficient and adjusting with the times as needed. We're going to have some challenging times ahead, and we need to ensure we have a strong voice for sustainability and viability going forward. That voice is Hampson on October 18th for the town of Elk Point, the right place to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Go ahead, Parrot.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer, for hosting. My name is Parrish Tong, and I'm running to be the mayor of Elk Point. I'm a retired school teacher administrator, and I have been living in this area for over 44 years. And I'm honored to be elected on the Elkhorn Town Council for 16 consecutive years. The first term as a councillor and 4 terms as mayor. During those 16 years, our team of elected officials have accomplished the following. First of all, most important, improve relationship with the county and town of St. Paul. And this results in increased funding for our library from 3,000 in 2001 to 45,000 plus in 2017. We also applied for various joint grants for the betterment of our region. And one of my most proud moment is to establish the Regional Water Commission, which I was the chair till 2017. And this secures future treated water supply for our town. And it gives us all the opportunity for our town to grow. And we have also the combined grant with the county to build our existing fire hall. And also we share operating costs with the county on the transfer station. Within our town, our team of elected officials had developed 2 residential subdivisions. We developed industrial park, and we attract business into our town. We built a treated water reservoir, once again, to ensure that we're water supply. And for recreation, we have built 2 playgrounds for elementary school, spray park, outdoor skating rink, walking trail, and we also institute a provincial grant, hosting grant for future provincial hosting to promote our economic development. This town, we're in big trouble right now. We are facing internal and external pressure in financial situations. External financial pressure are the download from our government into our town's operating budget. This includes the policing grant and also includes the downsizing of the MSI. Internally, we see a drop in the assessment. And in 2001, our assessment for tax is 49 million. In 2017, we had jumped up to 174 million. And then in 2021, we only at 142 million. This directly affects our property tax. The also
Thank you,
issue
Paris, that I'm gonna have to cut you off there because we've got to get to everybody. But we'll let you speak again and later. That's great points. Thank you very much. Okay, Jason, go ahead, please.
Good evening, everyone. I really appreciate seeing everybody who has come out tonight and participate in tonight's event. My name is Jason Boris. I've been living in the town of Elk Point since 2004 when I married a local girl and the love of my life, Crystal Kolchiski. Together, we are raising 3 wonderful and unique children, Edna, Darianne, and Joe. We're all active in this community. I was born and raised on a farm in the Ashwaubenon area and happy to say I've been a part of this county all my life. I'm currently working at Agland in St. Paul, that's the local John Deere store, and have been there for almost 15 years in sales and sales support roles. In my past lives, I've worked with several nonprofit organizations like the Lakeland Agriculture Research Association and Alberta 4-H as resource persons. I do have a heavy agriculture background, but I truly understand that energy sector is the lifeblood of this town. I believe that diversity in the economy is a definite key for this area and want to promote the growth of small business and our community as a whole. I am deeply community minded. Volunteering is second nature to me. As of over the past few years, I've spent countless hours on several nonprofit organizations within the area. Prime example is the local 4-H club in an adult leadership roles and currently sit as the president for the Elk Point Lions Club. An organization has deep roots in this town for over the last 50 years. I volunteer to be able to give back to the community and to inspire my own children to want to engage in volunteerism as well. The path to building our community is through the life, to the blood, sweat, and tears of the volunteers. So the more people we can get to engage the community is crucial. Last year, I even started to look for more ways I can get involved with the community. I joined the Economic Development Committee to help shape a better point. And I want to take that energy to bring it to council, as I feel I can be a positive position to take better action today for a better tomorrow. Thank you for your consideration, and I look forward to hearing your comments and questions about our town's future.
Thank you, Jason. Go ahead, Bernice.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, candidates. Elk Point is the right place to be, and that's why I'm here today, because I care about the present and the future of Elk Point. My concerns are working towards a better community, meeting the needs of all the citizens, and informing people of the decisions and issues that might affect them now and in the future. Encouraging growth in this hard economic times, maintaining what we have already, our healthcare center, our doctors and nurses, our emergency services, our excellent school system, our recreation, and I already mentioned the healthcare center. The essentials like infrastructure, water and sewer, of course, have to be dealt with firstly before other considerations are taken. Showing more support towards the businesses that we have here, and also the groups and organizations that are doing so much volunteer work for our community. Without them, we couldn't be what we are today. Priorities like this affect businesses and new people to our town. They look, what does Elk Point have to offer? And all these things add to making Elk Point great. Why am I running? I have lived in Elk Point all my life. I'm a semi-retired school teacher, and I have lots of time to work on issues of the town. I have 15 years of council experience, and I worked well as a team member. I am dedicated, responsible, reliable, and respectful. I, at one time or another, was involved in most organizations in this town, being from president to secretary, and I did a lot of volunteer work. I believe that integrity and trust are important traits for anyone running in public office. I also believe that elected officials have to work as a team to meet the citizens' needs of Elk Point. I also feel that every concern is important, and every concern should be dealt with. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernice. Go ahead, Wanda.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Wanda Cochran. I would like to thank those of you that were able to forward questions, which I look forward to addressing later. Thank you to those who will join us via a recorded live stream. Thank you, Jennifer, Givens, and the Elk Point Chamber of Commerce. I am a small business owner here in town and a very long-time resident. I was very fortunate to have been raised in this nurturing community. I'm an F.G. Miller alumni, and after marrying my husband, Murray Cochran, we decided to start raising our family here. In the early 1990s, we had to relocate with the company Murray was working for a period of 4 years. And when he had the opportunity for a new business venture, we decided to return back home to be closer to our friends and family, and we have been here ever since. We loved raising our 3 daughters in this community, and while doing so, we are very active with many local groups, such as the 4-H Club, Ukrainian Dance Club, Minor Ball, as well as helping out with many school sports and activities. Now that the kids have left home and my business structure has changed, I believe it is time for me to give back to this community. I am self-employed, so I have the ability to balance my schedule to allow me to fulfill the duties of council while still maintaining the needs of my business. I'm a genuine person that believes in our small town, and I want to see it prosper for generations to come. I want the community to be able to reach out to me so that I can be your voice, and together we can keep Elk Point as the right place to be. I'm passionate to see our community stay viable. After speaking to many of the residents, there are concerns that the numbers in our schools are declining, which is not good for our town. We need our schools to keep our community going. There are concerns that with the aging infrastructure here, not just things like sewer lines, water lines in the streets, but our recreational facilities. These facilities are all volunteer run and are in dire need of some costly upgrades. So we all need to work together to keep our town going. Many businesses have closed, leaving empty buildings. Without viable schools, recreational facilities, and a strong core of business, what is drawing people to our town? Residents are concerned about our hospital and whether it will continue. With a shortage of doctors and now RNs, people are worried, how long will we have a local healthcare facility? Now, I know that our economy is largely driven by the oil industry, which took a hard hit back in 2014, and we are still feeling the ripple effects from. Now, add to that the pandemic that we are still dealing with, things are tough, decisions are tough. I am a reliable and committed person and am willing to do my best to help make those decisions. Do I have all the answers? Absolutely not. But I would love to be given the opportunity to work with the mayor and the rest of council to benefit our town. Thank you.
Thank you, Wanda. Okay, go ahead, Deborah.
Good evening, everybody, Madam Chair, candidates, and everyone out there watching or will be tuning in, I guess, later. I've been a part of this community since 1997. I graduated from Lakeland College and from Lloydminster with a diploma as a rehabilitation practitioner. I got married at the Elks Hall, which is now actually kind of converted and running a daycare. So things have evolved through time. My first child I had in May of 2001 and my second child in December of 2003. During those years, my extended family has moved to the area and they call Elk Point their home. I've been in retail banking for the past 19 years, and even though my choice of vocation changed, my goals have not, to which I aim to always improve myself and the community, build strong supports as a good service provider, be an active participating member of the community, help fulfill short and long-term goals, work as part of a team to implement my plans, and extend our opportunities for future and sustainability. For the past 8 years, I've been an active and productive counselor. I've currently on the Evergreen Regional Waste Management Commission, Elk Point Economic Development Committee, Municipal Airport Authority, Elk Point Community St. Paul Fire Board Committee, to which I chair, Northeast Municorp, Elk Point Municipal Library Board, Recreation Committee, Canada Day Committee, Community Futures of Smoky Lake and St. Paul, to which I chair, Regional Allied Arts Society, Northern Lights Library System, to which I'm also on their policy committee. I'm on their grievance committee, and I'm on the executive board as treasurer. I pride myself on being an active, attentive, and reliable board member on council. I work the bingos, I flip the pancakes, I'm in those parades, I flip the burgers, I do cleanup, I'm helping, I'm downtown. I will bus those tables, I will patron events, and I'm always a part of everything that I can be whenever asked to. So if you need help, assistance, I will be there, not just as your counselor, but as a person of the community, a citizen and a volunteer. I'll do anything and everything I can within my power to help whenever and wherever I can. Collaboration is a key part of smaller municipalities for their success and their growth. Through the years, we have worked very hard to get our community on the right path. Alliances are going to be even more important as infrastructure costs are rising and government grants are being provided less frequently than they used to be. We have a great working relationship with our neighbors, the County of St. Paul, the Town of St. Paul, and the Village of Horseshoe Bay, and I hope to continue to maintain their support for the future. In recent years, we've worked to bridge the gap for our local nations and Métis settlements through discussions and meetings, and together, I'm joyful that our outcomes of a closer relationship, mutual benefits, and supports will continue. My love for my community knows no bounds, and my goals are to help make our motto, the right place to be, a true reality. Our objective is to make sure that when people have a complaint or suggestion that needs to be addressed or heard, then I'm your person. I plan to be on I plan to see our community prosper, thrive, develop, and sustain its existing amenities while at the same time not compromising our small town comfort and its beauty.
Thanks, Deborah. I'm going to have to cut you off right there. Save it for your closing remark, okay? Perfect. Thank you so much. Tim, you go ahead.
Hello, all. My name is Tim Smaraka. Currently sit on council, and I thank all those that are here tonight to put their name forward. It is part of our plans with the government or initiatives with the government where they look at our towns and say, how strong is your town by how many people put their name forward to run for these types of elections. And with the number that we see tonight, I think our town is very strong. It's represented really well. For those that don't know me, again, like many of my colleagues here, I've been in town for 52 years, raising 3 children, married, have never left, love the community. I think that's what holds me here, is I think this is the best community that there is in the region. I know I could go on about many things that I've done with where I've sat as within boards and different places, which I have, and I think everybody here has. But I really believe that what the past is the past. We can't be those people. We can't be those people that say, this is what I've done and this is why. I think we need to look forward. And that's where, for myself, I think that's where I'm going to concentrate on tonight. The past doesn't matter as far as what we have accomplished already. It's what we are going to accomplish. I guess I'm just going to set out some goals that I would like to see myself achieve and the council. I would like to see a stable and supportive healthcare unit, doctor retention and attraction, nurses retention and attraction, and ambulance coverage. I can speak on that from myself with a member of my family that was very sick in the past here, and we waited 40 minutes for an ambulance to attend the site. So I can relate to many people in the area when there is concern. So I think that's where we have to really concentrate. That's what our town builds around. A strong economic development group. We have to bring businesses in, but we have to keep businesses going. We've seen a lot of people leave within the last few years because of the downturn. We have to somehow make this a stable place for everybody, and it goes by business. It starts with businesses. It brings people in, it keeps people here. So we have to put a lot of effort into that to try to build something better. Internet, we've all seen in the past 2 years, our internet suffers as well as most places in Alberta. We have to find a way to make this a better solution. So whoever gets into council, and I look at it myself as saying that this is one of the important factors, we have to find a way to do it without spending a ton of money and costing us our future. And I believe we can do that. I can do that.
Thank you, Tim. We're going to stop you there and save the rest for later on. Okay. Olivia, you go ahead.
Thank you, Jennifer. I just wanted to start by saying thank you to the Chamber for hosting the forum and to Jennifer for being a wonderful host tonight. My name is Olivia Wilkins. Many of you may know me as Sidner before I got married. I was raised on a farm near Tullaba Lake, and I worked in Elk Point for the last 10 years, and I've decided to call Elk Point my home 3 years ago. My husband and I opened our own business in town 2 years ago, and I have a 4.5-year-old daughter that just started play school this year. I am currently the president of the Elk Point Auto Club. I serve as the Vice President of the Elk Point Chamber, and I also sit as a member at large of the Economic Development Committee. I firmly believe that small towns are as strong as the people in them. And so putting my name forward to council is how I believed it was the best way that I could support our community and ensure its sustainability forward into the future. As a new council member, I understand that I would have a learning curve ahead of me, but I am dedicated to the task at hand and serving the town to the best of my ability, always putting forward to the front of my mind what would be the best decision for the town and the taxpayers. I hope to have a vote on October 18th, and we'll see how the year goes. Thank you.
Thanks, Olivia. Okay, Dwayne, you're up.
Thank you, Jennifer. I guess with my name starting with the Y, I'm at the bottom of the list here. Good evening, everyone. Firstly, I'd like to say it's great to see so much interest from our residents wanting to serve their town. For those that don't know me, I'm Dwayne Yarmcavich. I was born and raised in Elk Point, like a few other ones, and I take great pride in our community. I've been married to my wife, Donna, for 38 years, and together we raised 3 children here in Elk Point, and we are proud of our 13 grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren. I've been employed at Elk Point Trust for the last 42 years. And it's been an honor to serve Elk Point for the past 17 years, and I hope to continue for the next 4 years. I bring to the table common sense, problem solving, business sense, and dedication. In the past 4 years, I've served on many council committees, some of them including MD Foundation, Golf Course, Water Commission. Presently, I'm president of Municipal, which I've been for the last 10 or 12 years, I think. And COVID, the drop in assessment and the economy has put a damper on our town's finances. We have to keep a very tight budget. In closing, I'm looking for your support on October 18th. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Dwayne. Okay, we'll jump to our Division 1 candidates here. Jim, you go ahead.
Thank you, Jennifer. And thank you to the inviting Division County of St. Paul Division candidates in Division 1 and 2 to this forum. My name is Jim Kiss. I'm running for councillor in Division 2. I was born and raised here in the Stony Lake area. Went to school in Elk Point, graduated there. I did move away for 25 years to pursue higher education and was involved predominantly in a political career for that period of time. I did move back here in 2015. I had been able to keep the family farm that my Baba and Guido started or settled on in 1926, and I'd kept it through the years after Dad passed away. Mom moved to St. Paul and came back in 2015, bought some cows, and I, along with my wife, Jessica, was just recently blessed with a beautiful baby girl in June of this year. And so I'm a brand new father and very proud of that. I learned my politics back from the days of John Drobut, former Reeve in the county and MLA for the provincial government. From that, I've worked mostly in the Klein era with various ministers and in various ministries to probably the most accomplished feat that we did is we did end up balancing budgets and eliminating debt, probably the first and last time that the province of Alberta will ever have no debt. So I was also the farmer's advocate for the province for 7 years. And then I worked in senior management with AFSC for about 4 years. For the last 4 years, I've been an insurance broker back in the community as well. What I bring to the table and why I'm looking for a position on council in Division 2, we must be very vigilant of staying in our lane, making good common sense decisions on core services provided in the most efficient manner. A lot of that will include working with partnerships with our neighboring municipalities, including Town of St. Paul, Town of Elk Point. But we must very carefully stay in our lane. If anything, over the last couple of years dealing with the COVID situation and provincial government decisions in particular, there is much being put on our plates that may not be our direct responsibility, but we're closest to the people and we're going to be asked to deal with those. So
thanks very much, Jim. I'm going to just cut you off there. Just going to have to cut you off there, but thanks very much. And you go ahead, Johnny.
Okay, sorry, I had to take the mood off here. Can everybody hear me? Good. I got to Canada 25 years ago, or 27 years ago. Started in a pig barn north of town. Come from a dairy farm back in old country of Denmark. Got my ticket as an electrician there. Got over here, recertified again, and today have my master ticket. I have been in business for 22 years. I've been involved in a lot of volunteer groups around our point, been on the fire department for plus 10 years. So I really love this area here and have now decided that it's maybe time for me to get up to the plate and try to help out with some of the stuff that is going around, and improve some of the stuff that is already going very well, but there are always room for improvement. What I bring to the table is going to be a business background. And we have to open up for more business. Division 2 is surrounding our point, so there will be automatic being and working relationship with the town of our point. And some of the things I can see that they definitely will and have be and must be working relationship about is the hospital with nurses and our ambulances, the fire department is all joint things. I am vice chair for the local crime watch. Crime is a problem we have to deal with too, and I'm definitely committed to bring that up to a higher level too. Thank you, and thanks for letting me come in here.
Thank you, Johnny. And we'll wrap up our introductions with Kevin.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank Givens LLP and the Chambers of Commerce for giving us this opportunity to come forward and speak to you all. I believe we live in God's country here in the county of St. Paul. I have yet to find a place I would rather live and raise my family. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kevin Wursta. I'm running in Division 2, basically Range Road 80 to Range Road 63 that runs north and south and through Elk Point. I'm here to listen and be your voice, and I want to continue to make a difference. For those of you who don't know me, as I said, Kevin Wursta, Division 2. My roots run deep here in the county as we proudly celebrate 105 years on our homestead. I come from a family of 7 siblings, all of which continue to live within this area. My wife and I, along with our 2 beautiful daughters, own and operate K-Cow Ranch on the south side of Stony Lake. As for my volunteer experience, I was a 4-H member for 9 years, and I'm looking forward to commencing my 15th year as a 4-H leader this fall.
I have served on the Farm Fair International Beef Committee as chairman, beef representative for over 15 years. I was appointed to the REA Board of Directors for over 8 years. I have been an active member of the Stony Lake Community Association for over 20 years and served as their president for many of those years. I'm very supportive of our community, as well as continuing to be a strong volunteer and a big supporter of our nonprofit organizations. Here's a few of my passions I've developed over the past 4 years. I've become a strong advocate for the local library and its big part in our community. I have an active supporter recreation facility funding. I believe they are the fundamental part of every community, supporting both physical and mental health. Strong supporter of the FCSS program. This program is imperative to our community. Our community is rich with natural resources that should be enjoyed by all taxpayers. While I believe our county council has done great work, I think there is room for growth. I'd like to see more constant and consistent regular road maintenance programs. Today's regular maintenance will reduce the need for major repairs in the future. I'd like to see our taxpayers receive more value for their dollar. In short, I have experience on council and board settings. I work well with others. My line of communication is always open and looking forward to talking to you. I have an open mind and a creativity for a synergy. I'm here to listen and be your voice for Division 2 Counselor. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. All right, everybody, we are going to take a 3-minute break. We will start again at 7:40. Please feel free to shut your cameras off while we take a little break, and then we will resume with our questions from our later viewers. Alrighty. Just about everybody's back. I feel like somebody disappeared here. We have fewer people. We lost somebody. Who'd we lose? Wanda. We lost Wanda. Daryl. There's Daryl. Where'd Wanda go? Okay. Okay. Well, hopefully Wanda can rejoin us here shortly. We will jump into our question period. It's like test time at school. Woohoo! Pop quiz time. Okay, so we're gonna do, okay, Wanda will be back as soon as she can, and we will get her in on the questions then. Okay, so we're gonna start with Parrish and then Terry, and then we are going to go with, we're gonna start with Deborah for the counselors, and then we will do our division candidates for the first question and the second question as well. So we'll switch things up on the order a little bit, but we're kind of gonna go in the same alphabetical order, and for the mayors there's only 2, so it's just back and forth. Okay, so first question here. During the past year, what voluntary work have you done or been involved in the Elk Point community? Please note, this means not being paid an honorarium or fee for your time giving back to the community. Okay, Parrish, go ahead.
Okay, during this past year, because of COVID, I have not been able to join any community, although that I'm still maintaining contact with the doctors because we have some issues. And as a matter of fact, Dr. A and I, we sort of talk once every 2-3 weeks to find out how is she doing in terms of working by herself. Because when I found out when Dr. O is leaving, I actually talked to Dr. A's husband and herself and telling her what the stress point will be, because we went through only having one doctor before I recruited Dr. O to come many years ago. And that is one of my major, shall we say, volunteer work. And I also did some work so far as consulting is concerned. I'm still part of the ATA team that I'm still on. I don't have a title, but I'm also a pension consultant. So I have teachers who are close to retirement, and the pension consultant also include, the pensions also include with LAPP. So their town's employee or any provincial employee can talk to me because I do know a little bit about pension. Thank you.
Perfect. Terry, go ahead.
Great, thanks. For the last year for volunteer work, you might be interested to know that the Chamber of Commerce, I do not get paid there, the Economic Development Committee, the Regional Tourism Initiative Committee, the Elk Point Lions Club. I'm also still the executive on the Pickleball Club, the Soccer Club, and I also attend the small community committees for AUMA, which is the Alberta Urban Municipal Association. And those are all committee work that I do. And then I volunteer whenever anybody asks me to work as well. Bingos, just anything that somebody needs, I am willing to come to the plate if I am available. So we had spoken earlier, and there are other candidates as well. Volunteers in our community are our lifeblood. And we are all, I think we are all expected to volunteer. Thank you.
Thanks, Terry. Okay, Deborah, you go ahead. During the past year, what voluntary work have you done in the community, unpaid?
I am part of the Community Futures of Alberta network That's so being part of the Community Futures of Smoky Lake St. Paul committee, that is one that I'm on, but this is an additional committee to that. This one's province-wide. So I was voted and accepted to be on that board. So I've been a part of that board for the last year. And I'm still a Community Lions of Elk Point member. There's not a lot of things I've done right now in this last year, to be honest, on it, because it's been very quiet and it's due to COVID. But I'm still a part of that. And whenever they need me, they can call and ask. I have volunteered more for Allied Arts because of my connection with them. So when they were having the dinner theaters, that's additional things that I do with the Allied Arts, through them and for them. And there's no compensation for that. And I'm pleased to be able to do that. I've really enjoyed Allied Arts, and having that relationship with them has been exciting and fun, because I've learned a lot more about that organization over the years. And I worked the bingos for the also for Allied Arts, but also for Friends of the Library Board, which that's separate from the library that I'm associated with. So that's additional helping time. And when anybody else who knows me or they need someone to do something, people know that they can reach out and just ask me, and I will give them the time and the commitment, as long as I can do it. And I give it my all.
Great, thanks, Deborah. Okay, Tim.
See if I can get this mute off. Volunteering. I sit as the president of the St. Mary's Parish, Angle Lake. I've been doing that for many years now. It's a little community church. It's been around for over 100 years. But I sit as the president there. Economic Development Committee, I sit as a member at large on that committee. Minor hockey, I help out wherever possible there. Directors. This past year, I believe I was put in as a director, but again, with COVID, we didn't see much happening this past year. So I can't say that we accomplished a lot, but I offered to sit in there. Basically anywhere around town, if there's something that's needed done, if somebody knows I'm around and willing to do it. Cut grass around the rec facilities, around the pickleball court and around the arena whenever it needs to, and whenever I can find the time to do it. I try to do it most of the summer, but even with that, I guess with the no grass growing in our drought, I didn't have to do that much either. So, but that's what I do.
Great, thank you, Tim. Olivia.
Thank you, Jennifer. So for volunteering within the community, this past year, I was voted president of the Elk Point Auto Club. So we were able to put on our annual car show in conjunction with Heritage Days this year. And we hosted another poker rally in September 18th. I was part of the Chamber of Commerce as a business owner, and then I recently took on the position of vice president when the vacancy came up. I was just voted for president of the Elk Point Jack and Jill Play School Association, as that vacancy was up and nobody else wanted to take it. So I stepped to the plate for that. And I sit on the Economic Development Committee as a member at large. I do a little bit of volunteering outside of the community as well. I'm part of the Marwing Curling Club, so I helped out sell 50/50s at Lee Park Rodeo, and they have a few bingos that go on. And lots of farm volunteer hours. So thank you.
Thanks, Olivia. Dwayne.
Okay, due to COVID, my volunteering wasn't that hot this year. I'm an active elk, and we take turns looking after the campsite at Kehewan Lake, but in the last 2 years, it's been one person because of COVID. I work out at the Northern Valley Cemetery. I'm a member there where we, look after the place and stuff like that. I'm a board member. Other than that, worked a couple bingos, and at the arena here, I worked the booth a few times and selling 50-50. But normally a year has a lot more volunteering than this past year. Thank you.
For sure, for sure. Thank you, Dwayne. Okay, Jason.
Yes, I kind of already talked about it in my opening comments, but I can expand a little bit more than what we've done in the last year, primarily or with my kids. I'm an active leader in the Elk Point 4-H Beef Club. I'm their engineering leader, and as well I was an assistant leader with the beef project itself. And that was such a struggle trying to make sure that these kids get their projects done and be able to accomplish all their goals in the year with COVID. And somehow the brilliant leadership of 4-H Club, we were able to get it done. Other big thing that I'm a part of, again, I'm with the Elk Point Lions Club. The big project the Lions have produced this last year was the Elk Point Trout Pond, which is taken over the old Elk Point Reservoir just south of town. We've worked so hard over the last couple of years just to get up and running to be a stable fish habitat, and proud to say that with partnership, the Alberta government, we were able to put 900 rainbow trout in it. So it is an active trout pond. This project itself is expanding, so there's a lot more room to grow. So please watch out for that over the next few years. And a little more about the Lions. The Lions Club is kind of like an umbrella group for the town, for other community organizations that don't have a nonprofit status. So we kind of take over and help them out when they do. So prime example, the Second Chance Trail Ride, where Lions Club worked so hard with them just to make sure that they get all the resources and funding. We managed the 50-50s, and we were proud to say over this past year, we've raised over $5,000 in just 50-50s alone with them. So that's one thing that we work to. We help out the grad classes. Grad classes can't be their own society. And even Heritage Days, the Elk Point Lions have stepped up to help out the Heritage Days in our capacity, as well as I'm a member at large for the Economic Development Committee. So yeah, volunteerism is a big focus in my life, for sure.
For sure. Thank you, Jason. Bernice.
Well, this year, because of COVID, I have not been doing very much. I am a vice president of the Elk Point Heritage Lodge Auxiliary, and I also am a member of the Elk Point Hospital Auxiliary. But unfortunately, we've had 2 meetings that had to be canceled. I am available for volunteer work. You just have to give me a call. I've always done a lot of volunteer work in the community, and I used to work bingos for the Allied Arts, but like nothing was happening this past year. So I have not done that much volunteer work this year at all.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of people have found that for sure. We haven't done much this past year. Okay, Wanda, glad you're back. Okay, during the past year, what voluntary work have you done or been involved in the community, unpaid?
Well, when you don't have children at home anymore, you're definitely not volunteering as much as you do when your children are home and active. However, I did help with the golf course in the spring as they were doing a bit of a reno prior to opening. I volunteered some time out there. I have helped with booth shifts at the arena on occasion, and I am the secretary treasurer to the Elks Senior Hockey Club. And outside the community, I am the treasurer to the Sask-Elta Hockey League. So I'm not scared to volunteer by no means.
Great, thank you, Wanda. Okay, Johnny.
Okay, 25 years member of Elk Point Lions Club. Jason said the rest of the story about the Lions Club. I'm a very proud member there. The other thing that is close to me is the Crime Watch. I'm vice chair for the local Lakeline Crime Watch, being on the provincial board. And then, yeah, I think the most of it, COVID have shut down a lot of things too. We normally have bingos, casinos, and all that kind of stuff. Oh, I did work for one casino for the Lions there not too long ago. But yeah, spend a lot of time at that fish pond, get the pumps going and all that stuff.
Great, yes, and it looks very popular, you guys. We appreciate that. It's a great addition to the community. Kevin.
Yes, actually, it's been quite an active volunteer summer for myself. This past year, when it was allowed, we opened up what they call the Alberta Open Farm Days. We opened our farm up to around the province, and it was a great success. So that was part of it. And then through our 4-H program here in Elk Point, again, we opened our facilities for them to use. And I want to say through Heritage Days, we brought cattle into town and helped promote the Heritage Days in Elk Point, which is a big deal. All Canada Day, we flip pancakes in Elk Point. And then Stony Lake Community, mowing grass, garbage collection, and campsite kept clean all summer long. Bingos for the Allied Arts. I enjoy working them with those folks. The St. Paul Rodeo, flipping burgers for support of the program. And then Ashmont Parade Days, flipping pancakes for them at the fire hall. So it's been an active summer. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Kevin. Jim.
There we go. I think I'm unmuted now. In the past year, in terms of volunteer work in and around Elk Point, quite honestly, not much at all. There's been the past 19 months with the COVID situation caused a bunch of things to readjust, refocus, and I was working full time, and of course, with the new baby in June, things have been a little bit hectic. I am a strong supporter of volunteering for various causes, various events. Have in the past. I'm a lifetime member of the Stony Lake Stampede Association, and I have worked on some rodeo committees outside of the local area. One of the things I would highlight a bit, we did a couple of years ago, we did create a Hangouts group in the Stony Lake area, and it was really it was a Stony Lake Crime Watch group. Kind of a radius of 20-25 kilometers of my local area, and intended really to do two things. It was to ensure that neighbors in need could reach out if there was strange vehicles, if there was grass fires, if there were things like that that were of an emergency nature, and knowing where we live and how we need to support one another, because a lot of times a fire department call is 30-40 minutes away at least, and that's not a criticism, that's a reality of living where we do. So we created this group, and I've been an active member of that. It's helped identify things like suspicious vehicles, mischief in the area, kind of keep a tab on local crime. Very proud to be a part of that, and I look forward to getting back to normal, if there ever is going to be a normal in the world again, and getting back to having community events like we used to.
For sure, I think we all are, Jim. Thank you. Okay. Should municipal monies be used to fix existing infrastructure or used to expand the town for possible growth? So we are gonna stick to the town of Elk Point candidates for this one, because we're gonna run out of time if we don't talk fast. So go ahead, Terry.
Great, thanks. I just wanted to make a correction to my statement on the last question. I actually do get remunerated at the AUMA meeting. I just got excited listing all the things that I actually do outside of council, so I apologize for that. Do we take municipal monies and fix existing infrastructure or put it towards growth? Is that correct? Okay, great question. I believe we need a balance of both. Unfortunately, we have a lot of aging infrastructure in our town, and we have done a good job in the last 4 years, our current council, of making a game plan, working with Public Works, working with administration, working with our vendors to have long-term contracts on fixing things. But we have to strike a balance. We have to ensure that we are improving our existing infrastructure, but we need to also have growth. So yeah, I will leave it at that. And it needs to be a balance, and we need to be committed to both. They're both important for the viability of our town. Thank you.
Thanks, Terry. Go ahead, Parrish.
Okay. The town only gets two kinds of funding. One through property tax, in which is for operating, and the other one is through government grants for infrastructure only. We cannot get any government grant to do any residential or industrial development, okay? So there are only two streams of money, and one of the issues right now is the MSI, in which is yearly grant is due, or government is putting another new grant structure in which I know for a fact we won't get as much money as before. And with our loss in tax assessment, our revenue itself will be going down, okay? So therefore we have to balance the two funding structures to see what we can do, okay? We cannot use our town's money to flow it all the way into infrastructure. We definitely cannot use a grant money for any development, like economic development at all. So we have to draw the line. So we have to look at our own tax money. How can we cut? How can we free some money up? Okay, and that is where the issue is. And I can tell you that one of my, shall we say, promise is that if I do get in, one of my first motion is to make sure that our money is being spent like return on investment wisely. So my own opinion is that with new council's approval, I would, so we say, roll back the councils honorarium to 2017 level. This will free up some, at least 20 to 40,000 bucks, and that would pay for the policing costs that will be tacked on this coming year. So it will free our town a little bit, give us a little bit more freedom to maneuver that way. And that's what I'm going to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Parrish. Okay, Bernice.
Yes, I feel that we need a balance as well. I kind of agree with what Terry and Parrish said. But personally, I think that we should take care of what we have, because as costs rise every year, we have to take care of the infrastructure and things that in the next 5 years might cost double the amount. So I agree there has to be a balance. Just how we can balance everything, it's got to be like a priority, right? And so like the pipes, the water pipes, etc., I mean, they might cost a lot more 5 years down the line. So I think we should keep fixing what we have before we use money to more develop other things. That's the way I feel. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Bernice. Wanda.
Okay, well, for me, this goes back to some of the tough decisions that I said would need to be made if I am able to join council. We have to be able to maintain what we have. We have to plan going forward how we maintain on a regular basis instead of letting things deteriorate. So yeah, you have to do some fiscal responsibility so that you can expand as well as maintain.
Great. Thank you, Wanda. Deborah.
We have to strike a balance between the two. We are working with a smaller budget of money because of the size of our community and from what municipal taxes are brought in, as well as we're only eligible for so many grants that a community can apply for and have access to, or things are eligible for, and they're all subject to approval. So within all those guidelines, it's important that we maintain and keep infrastructure in this town working well and improve, because as it ages, it does get more expensive in the long run. But at the same time, some of those bigger projects qualify for particular grant programs. So we can help stretch our dollars farther by making sure that we are proactive in looking for those grants and applying for them within those municipal venues and through government channels. And if we do them well, they will get, hopefully they would get approved. And we would continue along that line of operating to make sure that we can hopefully do big projects and maintain, but to also attract and bring business in, we have to make sure that we do maintain and keep our amenities well taken care of. And so we have the attraction for people to want to come to at the same time. So it is very important to strike that balance. So I wouldn't say that you can dump a whole lot of money into one area or the other. You have to find a way to make it all work in the whole scheme of things. So the plans that we put ahead, you have 5-year plans, 10-year plans, 25 years plans. Those are the things you want to look forward to. So you want to make sure that you have your structures and your services assessed and looked at, so you kind of know what you're walking into and you're prepared. And we've done some of that groundwork is now. We're doing some of that groundwork ahead of us, and there will still be more. So it's just making sure that we strike a balance between all of that.
Perfect. Thank you, Deborah. Tim.
I'm going to just agree with everybody that's been talking here recently or before me. You really do have to find that balance. It's a challenge that council faces every day. I don't think there's a council meeting that goes by that you're not trying to figure out what you should be spending money on, what you shouldn't be spending money on, how to properly spend the money. I think it is a balance where you have to look for money where available. That's where a lot of times our regional collaboration comes into effect, where Monies is a little more free, and we have to be able and willing to work with our partners in the region to try to find that money to help us out, as well as try to make sure that what monies we do have, we're spending it on the right programs and plans and maintenance that needs to be done as well. So it's got to be that balance.
Sounds good. Thank you, Tim. Olivia.
I agree with what's been said. I think you need to find a balance. You do, I think in a town our size, you do have to look after what we have so that you can be fiscally responsible. But at the same time, we still need to look forward and about plans for the future and how we can get Elk Point to grow and to be viable into the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Dwayne.
Okay, that's a fairly tough question. Fixed old infrastructure has a lot of different meaning. For example, if we replace a water line for 2 blocks or something, that water line is going to be good for another 50, 60 years. But old infrastructure, if you mean band-aiding an old
Okay, sorry, I froze there for a sec. Okay, Parrish, I'll let you jump in for like real short, and then Jason gets to answer.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. We are well positioned. Our past success position ourselves for future success. We don't have to worry about, in a sense, whether we have land or not, because we have a lot of residential lot developed. We have at least 10 to 15 acres of industrial land developed. So therefore, we don't have to move those money to develop anymore. We have to entice and attract business and residents in to use our lots. Okay, I just want to bring this up because we got fixated about spending money on this kind of infrastructure. We don't have to. We really did a lot of economic development, and that's why past success carry on to future success. Thank you.
Thanks, Parrish. Okay, Jason, go ahead.
Sure. At the risk of having one person say something and 12 other people saying the exact same thing, I want to do a kind of comment on what Mr. Tung's comment was. Yes, we do have a lot of facilities already in place. One of the things I feel is the underlying question of the question at hand is, should we use municipal monies for infrastructure or maintenance? Is that we have in the past built a lot of facilities and infrastructures like the residential lots and the industrial lots. And a lot of people around town, residents of this town, are not quite happy with how that has turned out. We did build them in a time period when the town growth was expanding, but that dropped at a huge rate. And now a lot of those lots are sitting still. A lot of the industrial lots are sitting still. And so the question comes to rise, should we continue making those kinds of decisions in the future when we don't have a plan? And my focus is having a plan. And it's not a plan for the best. It's also a plan for the worst. So we got to make sure we mediate that. Because we can swing for the fences, but we have to answer when we come up short. And that's a critical thing. So balance is key. Growth is key. Because we need to be attracting and spending money to bringing industries and businesses here. But again, trying to make sure we don't fall on previous mistakes.
Great, thank you, Jason. Okay, we're gonna do one more question and then we're gonna do our closing statements. Okay, we're gonna open this to everybody. What will the candidates do to increase the internet connection speeds available within the town and the area? The internet connections are also not always stable. So calls drop, Zooms freeze, as we've seen. And the upload speed is not viable for things like live streaming. So we need to focus on some of this for business opportunities, ways to connect with people. We are a small town, not a big city, so we need to have these remote connections, and especially for the younger generations. So what will you be able to do, or what will your focus be on with regards to the internet connections in Elk Point and area? Go ahead, Terry.
Am I up first or is it Parrish? I went first last time. I just want to be fair.
Sorry, Parrish. I lost track of my tally marks here.
Oh, that's okay. It's not a big deal.
Oh, there's only two of you. You'd think I could keep track. Okay, go ahead, Parrish.
We'll flip a coin or something. Okay, the internet has always been an issue. We know that. Okay, but imagine, think about 20 years ago to now, we do improve a lot. But we have to be really careful on return on investment. How much can the town afford to put our own fiber optics in? I heard of some ridiculous figures, like in the millions. Can we afford it? How does it do? How much would the resident willing to pay for this kind of internet? We have to look at, like, sure, it's good for the business, but how about the residents? Would they willing to pay $150, $200 for fast internet? Or are they happy with right now 20, 25 MBS? Are they happy? Okay, somebody may say, well, yeah, I need it. But the fact of the matter is that we have a limited amount of money. The only thing we can do is politically, we lobby the government. Well, I talk to terrorists quite often. Actually, I complain to them once every 2 months and talk to them, and about forcing the issue that they should, like the town of St. Paul, put in fiber optics for free. And I think the federal government and provincial government eventually will do so because that's one of their platforms. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Paris. Okay, now Terry.
Well, we really could dedicate an entire evening to this subject. It is very close to my interest. I am a huge internet user, and I know that our current council has been looking at options, and Mr. Tung is correct. There's been ridiculous quotes given that would cripple a small town like us. The unfortunate part is we have a federal government which has a certain responsibility, which is downloading it onto a provincial government that has no plan, which then gets downloaded onto us. And then to make it worse, you kick in the word rural internet. And unfortunately, we have people that don't really understand what rural internet means and the freezing and the bandwidth issues. And frankly, we are behind the 8 ball. We have just in the last year upgraded the town and the chambers, which was actually quite disheartening because there was an opportunity a few years ago to have it done, and it was turned down at that point. So it's unfortunate it's fortunate we were able to get it done this year and within budget, but we need to have that forward thinking of where we're going to be, because if we don't have high-speed internet, we will not be able to go forward and grow and be a viable town. Now, how do we get there? Whole nother question, whole nother section. I will not bore you with many details, but I think we need to look at a regional approach. We need to start with our citizens. I would be asking for a broadband strategy committee to be formed, because it needs to have all players at the table. It needs to have residents, it needs to have business, and it needs to have government. And then we got to look at some options. I know we all hear the Starlink and the low orbital satellites, they're going to save the day because there's going to be a ton of space junk up there and no problem, we'll have no lag. I'll believe it when I see it. There's always a price tag to something, but I think we need to work with our regional partners. We need to look at grants when they come available. And we need to keep the pressure on the provincial government for their plan, the federal government for their funding, and the CRTC. We need to, they don't believe we don't have, 5 up and 10 down and 20 this and 50 that. So anyways, sorry, you can tell I'm a little passionate about this subject. I will stop there. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Olivia.
I agree with Terry. I think in order to approach this issue, we need to look regionally, as it's not something that the town is going to accomplish on their own. Internet definitely is an issue for small towns like us, and even when you get further rural, like within the county, it becomes even worse. So I am fortunate. I do live in town, so normally my internet is fairly decent, but it's still not where it needs to be. So thank you.
You betcha. Dwayne.
Okay, well, I don't have too much of my notes here to add to what's been said so far, other than high-speed internet is very important to our community, and the sooner we get it, the better for us. And, our governments have been there but it keeps taking time and time before, you know, anything's done. But I can see it coming in the future. There's been promises by the federal government that everybody's going to have a high-speed internet this year, and the year goes by and we still don't. So it's a fighting battle. Thank you.
Thank you, Dwayne. Jason.
Yeah, sure. Again, not to try to repeat, the one focus that I'm concerned about the internet is not because of people's Netflix accounts at home, but attraction of major industry and other businesses to our area. That is a prime priority for the team entering the community, and not a lot of people realize that, because again, we are in an online world, and if you're not online, you can't survive. So focusing on that as a priority, but how do we do it? A lot of people have made massive complaints to TELUS, but the matter of fact that TELUS serves thousands of communities from all in Western Canada, and we are just not high above that list. There are other communities higher priority, and the understanding is we can bump up our priority with TELUS if we come in the plate and invest in the infrastructure. And again, like everybody said, that can cripple the town. But we can't take our foot off, and because the problem is, in 5-10 years, when TELUS can come to our town, our needs might be more than what they provide at this point. So there's always that forward focus and trying to make sure that that a part of everything else for infrastructure is in place in a top priority.
You betcha. Thank you, Jason. Bernice.
Yes, I believe we do need it too. And the internet is slow, but the real problem is, can we afford it? And until we have the government on our side and saying that we do need it, and I know we can't attract big businesses without it, but I think that we have to rely on government to make sure that it happens here, because we simply as a town probably could never afford it. That's the way I feel.
Thank you, Bernice. Wanda.
Okay, so this is definitely not an area of my expertise, but I do know it is the way of the world. Like, everything is done via the internet now. And yes, we need it for attracting large business, but we need it to keep our residents content too. Kids are online all the time. People are working from home. Like, it's important, but you got to find the money, and it's not going to be an easy task. You know, is TELUS our only option? Are there other options out there? Is there other things we can look at? So, you know, it is important for our town, but going to have to do some research.
Thank you, Wanda. Deborah.
As a current council, we have had probably 4 different presentations on this particular issue, and the dollar amounts are quite staggering. It goes into the millions. So we definitely, this is something we don't want to drop the ball on. I think it's very important to keep lobbying and pushing, looking for grant support and help. Regionally approaching it is a very good and strong approach. It helps when local business like MCS Nest did come in and they put in a tower. So that helps residents in the area. It doesn't fix everything. Yes, we upgraded our town building. And so as far as my understanding is, TELUS has always said all businesses have access to it. They just have to be willing to approach, and they can get a quote and actually put it in themselves. So I'm throwing it out there first. So if there are businesses that also do want it and they want it now, the option is there for them. It's not taken away. But as a town, it's hard because of the dollar value to be able to do it as a whole. But definitely something that the approach can't stop. We have to fight. We need to lobby, and we need to regionally organize it. And I think if we band together, mind the pun, but band together, that we'll be able to come to some sort of resolution, and hopefully the supports will be in, and it will also be something that'll be mandated and pushed. So then this way, all communities can benefit from it.
Great, thank you, Deborah. Tim.
Good question. No easy answer, but I do believe the way we've approached this in the past has always been every town for themselves. Everybody's trying to figure out the correct way of doing it. And money is an issue. And the service providers haven't helped us really with anything. They charge what they can and basically conquer and divide, keep us split up, and we can't pool our resources and our thoughts and our strengths to do anything more. So I think we've come to realize in a lot of the committees I've sat in is that we have to somehow try to find a bigger voice to try to reach the Ottawas, try to reach the provincial governments, and then make the companies, the providers, find a solution for us. We have a certain need, and that's what we have to try to get those companies to provide to us. Instead of us trying to figure it out, let's make them give us a solution. And I think that's the only way of doing it is by doing a regional partnership and getting more voices and building the region as a whole.
Thank you, Tim. Kevin.
Yes, that's a very good question that's been on the table for many years here in the county. First of all, I'd just like to say that, you know, the internet is as important as power in today's living. My upload here is 4.7 megabytes. My download is 3.7. So any of you that know this, we actually pay for a 50 megabytes upload and download. So we're getting shorted every day of this as we speak. We need to lobby the government and push hard. We need to collaborate with our municipalities and joint letter efforts to send in, and not only just to the government, but also we need more providers to bring the cost down. As we all know, in third world countries and so on, they're paying the least amount for internet service that we're starving for here in the county and in our towns and villages. So those are my my thoughts on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Jim.
There we go with, hang on, come on back.
We can hear you, just can't see you.
Can you can hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll worry about the picture afterwards. Look, here's a prime example. I'm over at my neighbor's stealing his internet because my telesub at home is totally unreliable. A few years ago, we got it and it was wonderful. Then they oversold in the area, and right now, if we have this meeting at 4 a.m., I could do this from home at 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. Here, my internet basically shuts down. I believe we have to start to get thinking about internet like a basic infrastructure service, no different than water, power, sewer, natural gas, those types of things, and start looking at how that could be brought particularly to places like within the county of St. Paul in rural areas. I'm currently trying to be a believer in Starlink because I've exhausted all other possibilities. And so I've signed up for the Elon Musk SpaceX Starlink beta project that is intended to get internet to all parts of this globe. Haven't gotten my my hardware or subscription yet. hopefully that might be an answer. In terms of going forward, as I said, I think we need to collaborate together as communities and make this a priority issue, like having governments and other people think of it as a basic infrastructure need. Thanks.
Thank you, Jim. Johnny.
So I'm living a little bit out in the country too. I'm a lucky guy. I got high-speed internet here. They had to run a brand new cable down here when we moved down here. So yeah, as I said, we're lucky here. One of the things I think we forget in all this is it's not just TELUS that's a player here. The Alberta government installed high-speed fiber 15, 20 years ago. I can't remember when it was. Bell did that for the Alberta government. So there is actually two providers in town. We just have to start to look into how that can be utilized better. And I agree with everybody around the table here tonight is that it have to be a joint force between the town and the county and the whole area. That's and then it will be more to pay the bill too. It's something that CRTC should be involved in too. As I think was Terry that said that they're squawking about that it's good all over the place, and we can definitely say that it's not good enough here. So yeah, there is some opportunities. It's maybe something that need a little more work. Thanks.
Thank you, Johnny. Okay, we're gonna go with our closing remarks. We're gonna go in the opposite order that we started in. So we're gonna start with Kevin. 2 minutes, please.
Yes, good evening again. It has been my honor and privilege to serve the county, and I hope to continue serving. I am proud to call the County of St. Paul my home. I have the ability to communicate, be an effective listener, and I have an ability to bring people together and create a viable and innovation solutions. I would like to apply my knowledge and experience to the County of St. Paul Council to keep continuity and put together a viable strategic plan for the future for the county and to assist in its implements. I want to see taxpayers receive more value for their tax dollar. I'm not running because I'm looking for a career change or because I'm semi-retired and I have the time. I'm running because I'm passionate about the future of this county and I want to make that difference, the right difference. Division 2 County Councillor, Kevin Worsta. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Johnny, go ahead.
That was quick. I had to get back to it. Anyhow, I'm running for council in Division 2. What I can bring to the table is 22 plus years of business background. I think time is ready for us to realize that the oil pad have moved on. So we got to look for other business to move in and replace that nice revenue. And as taxpayer, we got to find another place where we can get the money that we need to pay for everything that we want to have in our modern world. The hospital have to have a substantially upgrading. That have to be a joint force between the town and the county too. And that definitely have my vote. It's very high on my list. As long as we leave it as it is right now, we know it's going backwards. That have to be stopped. We have to start to expand. Last but not least, crime. Crime is on the increase. We got to do something about that. And there is quite a bit I feel after being involved in for quite some years now, that they can be done that. It all ending up in the end of the day with funding, but there is still a lot that can be done there. So that's why I'm trying to make the difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Johnny. Go ahead, Jim, now that we can see you again.
Okay, there we go. We are unmuted. Thank you. Jim Kiss, Division 2, County Councillor, vote on October 18th. I stand for common sense decision-making. I believe we must focus on core services of the municipality done in the most efficient manner. I'm a small c fiscal conservative from way back, and we must respect the ratepayer and respect the fact that we work for you. In saying that, collaboration with our surrounding municipalities and towns and villages within our county is very important. Our county currently is in pretty good shape. We must keep it that way. And if the last 19 months has taught us anything, various levels of government are making decisions and are mandating and directing and suggesting, and maybe some stronger words, various initiatives that's within their prerogative, but they are putting that then on us as municipal council level to either implement, enforce, or deal with. And we are the closest to the people. Maybe a little bit of pushback is required, and a little bit of ensuring that we stay in our lane and deal with the core services that as a municipality we're required to provide in the most efficient manner for our ratepayers. Thank you. On October 18th, vote Jim Kiss, Division 2.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, Dwayne, you get to go first.
There we go. I am first now. Thank you. In closing, I'd just like to thank Jennifer and the Chamber for hosting this event. Thanks to all the candidates for their participation, and the best of luck to all. And remember, on October 18, vote for Dwayne. Thank you.
Thank you, Dwayne. Olivia.
In closing, I just want to thank again the Chamber and Jennifer and Givens for hosting this tonight. As I look to support Elk Point by joining Town Council, I stand to bring a younger perspective to Council, driven through a common sense approach. And so I hope on October 18th, when you go to the polls, there will be support for Olivia Wilkins, Town Council. Thank you.
Thanks, Olivia. Tim.
Thank you. Thanks, Jen, for hosting this. You've done a great job with all this. It's I think it's your first time doing it, maybe, but you wouldn't know. And thanks to Givens for also doing this. I was new to council 3 years ago, coming in a by-election, and I had a lot to learn. There was a lot of steps that I had to go through. Again, I just want to say that I'm not here to base on what the past is. I can give you all what I did in the past, but that's the past. We have to look at the future. So I'd like to thank everybody for voting for me the last time, and I hope you put confidence in for me this time. And I look forward to your vote in October 18th. Where I stand, again, solid healthcare, strategic plan and long outlook on economic development, regional collaboration to make the region a stronger place, which will attract businesses and residents to our communities, and a recreation plan that will help our kids find a little enjoyment outside instead of behind a computer. Thank you very much. And again, I hope to have your vote October 18th. Tim Smaraka.
Thank you, Tim. Deborah.
Thank you again to you, Jennifer, and the Chamber for hosting and doing everything that you're doing. You're doing a great job. I'd like to keep forging ahead with our projected strategic plans, corporate business plans, the operating budget, capital budget, the infrastructure plans, and to continue to keep our town's operations maintained and on track. I'm open and honest. I'm a reliable person. To those who know me, they would say that's true. I'm outgoing, fun-loving, compassionate, and an understanding person. I have a strong head on my shoulders, and I am very passionate. I work for a local financial institution, and which is very involved in our community, as well as I'm a shop local first gal here in Elk Point. This little town has fixed my car, insured my home, fed my family, renovated my house, and cured our ailments. My devotion has no limits. I love my town, and I'm here for the long haul with no plans of going anywhere. I'm an open book with my heart on my sleeve, and you can rely on that. If I'm re-elected, I promise to give my all to my elected position and make sure your issues and your concerns are taken seriously and fully addressed at the local level. So please come out and vote on October 18th. And I hope to have your vote and your support. So please vote for Deborah McQuinn for Town Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. Wanda.
All right, well, first of all, thank you, Jen, for the wonderful job that you did tonight. Thanks for everybody that participated, all the questions that were sent in. Unfortunately, we probably needed more time to address a few more, but you know what? I love our town. I love the comfort of our town, knowing your neighbors, knowing your business owners. I am committed, hardworking, and I care about the future of this town. There is no doubt that if I am successful on October 18th, it will be a huge learning curve, but I am up to that challenge. So I ask on October 18th, please support Wanda Cochran for Town Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Wanda. Bernice.
Thank you, the Chamber and Jennifer, for hosting this, and Givens. In closing, I think the most important thing that we can do is do the best for our community. To plan wisely, to choose priorities and spend wisely will benefit our town as a whole. It must be feasible, it must be sensible, it must be reasonable. That's the way I feel, and if I'm elected, I will try and do the best job that I can do. So on October 18th, I'm asking for your support. Vote Bernice Kapchak. Thank you.
Thanks, Bernice. Jason, go ahead.
Yes, Jennifer, great job. Thanks for keeping us a bunch of rowdy people on time and in the limit. So fantastic to that. We've had a great discussion tonight. I know we talked about our volunteerism. We talked about where to spend money. We even talked about internet. But geez, that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so many more things that are addressing this town that we all need to focus on too. Like I have a plan for how to bring industry to town, and I would love to have a chance to talk about it. But of course, we don't have time for everything. So I will be out in the community over the next couple of weeks, knocking on doors just like everybody else does, and I challenge people to address me on what I planned. I even go that far to how well tonight was run. I would be the first to join up if we chose to do a second forum in the week before the election, just because you'd be able to address those other issues, because we haven't talked about how to support volunteerism in our community. We haven't talked about how to, bylaw enforcement, how to really focus on the hospital. There's so many things that's on the plate about Point. And that's why I stood up and put my name down, because I'm about this town. I believe in this town. It's the future for my family, the friends, and my neighbor. I'm a very personal person, and look forward to hearing everybody's comments throughout the next week. And I strongly encourage people to vote, not only on October 18th, but if you can't, there's October 13th and October 16th advance poll. So make sure you take advantage of those opportunities. I'm Jason Boris, and I'm running for Elk Point Town Council.
Thank you, Jason. Okay, we're going really good for time, guys. Really good, really good. So we're going to let Parrish and Terry answer one more question each, and then do their final little wrap up, and we're going to give them 3 minutes each. So you got like 3 minutes to answer a question, and then 3 minutes to talk about yourselves. So Terry's going to answer the question, Parrish going to answer the question, Parrish is going to give his final remarks, and then Terry her final remarks. Okay, what question should we ask? What question should we ask? It is well known that Elk Point relies on the financial resources of the County of St. Paul in order to continue to operate. Several sources have mentioned that this support goes well beyond the normal partnerships that are established between neighboring communities. What is your plan to be more financially independent from the county in the future? Or is your plan to have Elk Point join the County of St. Paul? Okay. I know it was a long question, but we got our county buddies here. And I got to say, guys, this has been great. You're all doing great. And our region is so lucky to have all of you to take care of us. Okay. It's going to be really hard for everybody to make a decision on October 18th. So go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, wow, thanks for that question. It's jam-packed and loaded. I will make it very clear that I have, in the past almost 4 years, not heard a conversation around the table with the county that they are interested in taking us over, or that the town of Elk Point is interested in being taken over. So let's put that to rest. Let's put it to bed. But what's important is that we continue to share resources. We continue to have a good working relationship and a collaborative relationship with our county partners, because when you are pooling resources, when you are sharing resources, when you are sharing ideas, when you are having the discussion around the table, you are better as a group than you are off on silos. So is it important that Elk Point remain independent? 110%. Well, 100% if you're a numbers person. But is it just as important to ensure we have strong ICFs, strong collaborative agreements, strong relationships? 100% as well. So that's all I can say. I'm for relationships, but I'm for the independence of Elk Point and its identity. Thank you.
Thanks, Terry. Parrish, go ahead and answer the question, and then you can jump into your closing remarks when you're ready.
Okay, thank you. Actually, one of my proud achievements in 16 years on council is to foster a beautiful relationship with the County of St. Paul and the town of St. Paul also. Okay. One really good example, when I first elected, County of St. Paul only gave our library $3,000. That's it. That's all the funding we received. Okay. After working with them, and in 2017, we had over $45,000. We did have a joint operating grant. It was even before the MSI that we have money set aside to help out our nonprofit with association within our town. We had it in 2005 or 2006, way ahead of what the profit is doing. So we are doing really well. And I'm glad that this present council has continued with that relationship. Thank you to this council and also to the County of St. Paul for working together. As to identity, I've been in this region for 40 some years. I believe in the town of Elk Point. That's all I can say. Okay. In closing, thank you, Jennifer, for doing such a great job. And I do have a passion to serve our community. No with buts and maybes. And I also believe that with my past experience and success on council, that I'm well qualified to work with the new council to move our town forward. All I can promise you, the person who are voting for me or for anybody else, is that as always, the past 16 years and now, all my decision making will be made based on what is good for our residents. And also, the decision that council make must be based on return on investment. Are we getting our money's worth? And what does it do for our residents? And that's all my decision making in the past are based upon. With that, I look forward to your support. Thank you very much. Good.
Thank you, Parrish. Go ahead, Terry, and wrap us up.
Thank you, Jennifer, you've done a great job. So thank you to Givens LLP for hosting this. Thank you for the chamber. Thank you for everyone who has participated this evening. If given the opportunity to serve and represent this community, I commit to working with fellow council members to forward issues we discussed tonight, along with many others that are facing the residents. I'll recap my promises. I look to continue to serve our community with a passionate, strong voice of advocacy. I commit to make a strong, informed decision to ensure our town is growing, remains independent, and moves forward with communication back to you. Take a balanced approach to fiscal responsibility and the community services provided within the budget challenges that we face. I will continue to drive an intentional focus on economic development for our town while supporting our current business community that has been amazing through the last 20 or so months of this pandemic uncertainty. And with that, I'd like to just pause and say thank you. Thank you to those who have kept us going. And welcome to those new businesses that have started up and chosen our town during this time. I want to say thank you to our community volunteers for stepping up and never stopping. You're the unsung heroes of this town. I would be honored and humbled to serve our region, our town, and our community. I want to take this opportunity just quickly to thank my husband, Dan, my family, and my friends for their tremendous support, as this process is not for the faint of heart. Communication, commitment, and common sense. That's what you're going to get with the Hampson voice. That voice is Hampson Vote on October 18th or on the 13th and 16th at the advanced polls. So beat the lineup. We'll see you there. Elk Point, it's the right place to be.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you, everyone. And we will post this online right away.